got delivered today, but I was in the backyard freaking pressure washing, and I wasn't there to answer the door. So I don't know. Somehow I've got to read this chicken scratch the UPS left back on a note on my door with an address that I can't read, that I got to go find it at, I guess.
Oh, it's probably, like at a UPS drop location.
I guess so, but when I looked it up, it was
certified or something? Required signature?
I guess, because it's a camera, and I guess it's expensive.
It's weird. They left mine on my doorstep. They're like, good luck.
But I looked up the address that he chicken scratched on here, and it comes back to an Advanced Auto Parts.
What?
You get your camera and calipers at the same place.
I'm not kidding.
He dropped it off at his buddy. He's working at AutoZone.
Oh, man.
It's like,
just
this
go
dude
down.
might come by, pick it up.
Go down. Mitch will take care of you.
Yeah. He's like, there's a $100 fee for me holding it. You're like, I don't think that's right.
You're like, there's a core charge for your.
There's a car. Are you returning a battery, or is this a brand new battery? You're like, what?
Like, I'm here to drop off my used oil and pick up my camera from
Right.
Amazon.
We don't rent tools anymore. Sorry.
That's funny. Well, what camera did you end up getting?
I got exactly what Nick Key told me to get.
Right. Makes sense.
Same. Yours has an extra letter, though.
He began to explain it to me, and I just messaged him back and was like, send me a link. I don't know what you're talking about.
Which one?
I always get that's so funny. Keep going.
So what did I get, Brad? I got the Canon
Oh, that's wrong. Mine has an extra letter. Just kidding.
Right. I got the Canon ER.
EOS. C. I don't remember. EOS R. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. I don't even know. Isn't that
Hey,
funny?
Sam.
Like, I
Sam,
literally
what are
had no
we
idea.
talking about?
Right.
I'm going to tell you.
So it's in.
Poor Sam.
It's not the Rebel, right? No, there's no.
That's what I have now. It's the
the Rebel is like a lower line.
I think he has the RP.
The RP?
Yeah.
I have the RP. He has the R. He has
Oh,
I have the
just the R.
Canon. I got the Canon EOS R Plus RF24
Gotcha.
105 millimeter lens.
It sounds like you're the same with me. This is literally what I do. I have two people I talk to about cameras. Sam and my cousin Matt, who's a professional photographer in California. And this is how I bought my first camera. I literally texted my cousin Matt. I said, hey, what camera should I buy for stuff I do? And he's like, well, if I'm not renting a Red camera, which is a cinematography camera that you can rent, and it's like thousands of dollars. Like, he's like, if you're not renting one of those, I use a Lumix GH5, and that's what I use, and I like it. I'm like, cool, and I bought it literally as soon as I started texting. I'm like, I don't need any other info. I'm just gonna be like, you think it's good? Cool, and that's that's how I do it, because I'm the same with you. I'm so illiterate.
I do the same with Nick. Like I hollered at Nick. I was like, I need a new camera. This is what I have, which is the Canon. Canon Rebel T6i. It's been a good camera, but I mean, it's 5-6 years old now, which in camera years is probably 20 with technology, the way it goes every year.
Right.
So it's time for an upgrade. My audio jack screwed up, and I told him, I was like, this is what I got. Here's my budget. And he started to explain it, and I literally just hit him back. It's like, whatever you say, I trust, dude. Just send me your affiliate link for Amazon, and I'm going to buy it.
That's what I did.
And so that's what
he was like, what's your budget? I'm like, this. He's like, buy this. I'm like, sweet, thanks.
Right.
Ordered.
Yeah.
Right.
But I am the kind of person, though, that once I get it, I'll research the crap out of it. Like, I will figure that thing out.
Oh, yeah, I don't do that.
I'm not going to do the pre-research to like. I'll trust somebody on that, and then I'll just master it later.
I just bugged the shit out of Nick. I'm like, so now how do I use this thing? He's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. See,
Go on YouTube.
I don't even do the post research. I just buy it and I'm like,
right.
I think Auto works pretty good on this, and then I just go with it. And then when Sam showed up and moved here like a month ago, he goes, what the hell is this? You was shooting an Auto? And then he set up the camera. There's a bunch of presets you can do and all this crap. I'm like, oh, this is so much better. There's not like lines going through the screen, because I had mine set up. I had mine set up in my shop with the fluorescent lights, right, or the LED lights. whatever the light was, whatever it was recording at, you could actually see like these streaks of like lighter and then darker. But you could only see it if you were scrubbing back and forth through the timeline, like when I was editing.
Amazing. So your frame rate was not matching the light.
Exactly. And so I haven't had that issue in the last month. Let's just say that. As soon as the guy here was like, no, this is stupid. Why are you doing this? And I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
When I got my first camera, I actually did quite a bit of research. Like I did the whole, like, use a white piece of paper to set your white balance in your shop and this and that. Right. And so when I film in my shop, it's all pretty good. Although I did struggle with ISO settings. Like on the camera, it looks good. And you look at it on the computer and it's super dark. If you look back at my older videos, like I was looking at my straight cut sled, because I did an update video, because dude, I got so many comments like it wasn't even a big deal and it doesn't even really matter. But when I did the straight cut sled, I did the top board and then I did an overhang and then I ran that against the fence to cut the cutting edge of the sled parallel with the top board, since it was overhanging, and then flipped it around, cut it off so everything was straight. Right. Well, people cannot figure out why I did that. I probably have 100 comments on that video asking why could they please further explain it. So I made a new video. Anyway, I went back and looked at that video and it was so dark. I'm like, oh my God, I want to delete it.
Right. It was funny, like that, where you did something that was semi-confusing to certain people. Mm-hmm. Well, all those comments helped you so much with the algorithm.
No,
like,
I know.
Is it a good performing video for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny. There's certain things. I've really found out that there's a balance between being super informative and also leaving certain things to question so that people will actually comment. Right, because there's only so many comments that people do where it's like, thank you so much, this was so helpful. Mm-hmm. But there's also this thing where it's like, if it's not quite clear, people will start commenting like crazy and they never look through the comments. They just go and start commenting. Right. So if they don't look through it, it's like, and it just helps the algorithm. Then you actually be successful with that and it gives it a boost and stuff. So it's kind of a fine line you have to do.
And it presents another opportunity. Like I took on this one, I'm like, I don't really have anything, I don't have a build going on, I'm busy with other stuff. And I was like, I get that question like all the time. I'm gonna make an updated video answering the question, which gave me another video. So then when people ask, I can just post the video to the comment and then they can just go to that.
Right.
So I'm gonna look back and see if there's any others I can do that too for filler videos.
Right. I went back and redid a couple thumbnails already. Haven't seen any difference doing that thumbnails, but it made me feel good inside. Right. And I was like, oh, that's not as shitty. Here we go.
I don't think that is an immediate return. I think it takes a while. I've done that to some of mine as well. I've seen improvement in all the ones that I've redone, that it's definitely better. I've seen an improvement, but it takes a little while. You know what I mean? It takes a little while for it to get out there. Then the CTR starts to climb little by little. So I know it's helpful. Like I've redone mine before, but I haven't had like an immediate reaction to any of them yet.
Yeah.
CTR is click-through rate for anybody who didn't know.
Yeah. If you're interested in going into YouTube, you'll start diving into the analytics. I've started diving into the analytics of the YouTube studio. It's crazy how detailed they are. Right?
Yeah. Like, especially when you can start doing groups and things like that. You can put like groups of videos together and analyze them against each other with all kinds of different metrics. So you can spend you could spend all day in there.
Yeah. It's cool though. Going in, you're like, this is one thing that I was talking to Sam about, is that I was looking at certain videos. I forget what video it was. Something weird. But it said all my traffic for that video, which it wasn't a ton of views, probably a couple thousand, right? So it's not a lot. But most of the views were coming from Facebook, which I don't really share links on Facebook because I neglect Facebook too much. And the other one was LinkedIn, which I was like, I don't even post to LinkedIn. It's like, I don't understand where these people are coming from. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know
was it
how
like
this
a
works.
Sponsored video or something?
No. It wasn't a sponsored video.
Maybe your sponsor like posted it to LinkedIn or Facebook.
I get weird ones from time to time as well. I get like these weird, like I'll get one that's very high that it'll be this random forum that somebody put a link on for something in other drawers or whatever. And I'll get this huge influx of stuff from that random thing. And I have to like click on it and go look at it. And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I never even heard of it, but I think it's just the way it gets shared. And
it's probably
I'm always,
what are you doing?
Oh, I was going to take a picture for a story later.
Well, you
No.
should have turned your sound off because we heard the chick.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh. Everybody on the podcast is like, I know exactly when that story was taken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
it sounded like very much like a creeper, by the way.
It looked like it too.
Oh, that's funny.
I
was like,
me.
well, one thing that we don't
He
do
wasn't
is
even
post.
discreet about it.
No.
He looked nervous about it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we don't do, all three of us don't do, except on the days we post, right? Is we don't share when we're doing the podcast. We don't promote this enough because love podcast is one of the most enjoyable things I do with the social media. It's fun. We get actually the people that are really engaged with us talk to us a lot more. Like I didn't even know the certain people listen to the podcast and then they'll message me out of the blue. I've listened to every episode. Love you guys, whatever. And I'm like, well, that's kind of cool because sometimes it feels it's like we're talking to ourselves, which is fine because I enjoy it. But, it's kind of cool. So I was like, I need to share it more. So I was just taking a picture to do for a story after the podcast. But, whatever.
I don't remember what we were talking about now.
I don't remember either.
I know where all your Facebook follows or your views came from.
Where?
You don't remember back in the day when we always got messaged by those big accounts? Is it okay if we share your stuff on Facebook and we'll re-edit it? Well, one paid off for you, my friend.
Right. Well, hey, that's one thing we should share to people that are growing on there. If you have a viral video or whatever and you get message from somebody that says, hey, my name's Bored Panda, which is one of the ones I've been. It's like, my name's Bored Panda, and we share stuff. It's a great marketing tool, and we'll tag you. It never works. They steal your content. They make all the money, and you never see a return. So if any marketing group or whatever says, we're going to just use your content and you give us permission, just say no.
I don't say no. I used to say no, and then I got bored with it, and I'm tired of them. So I'm just like, cool. So how much are you going to pay me? They just don't respond.
Right, and that's what I do now. And they're like, oh, we don't have a budget. I'm like, well, you make money. I know you make money.
Well,
so
then you don't have any videos.
Right. So, but if you're new to this and you get messaged, neglect it. So, Hey, JP, what are you drinking?
I am still drinking on this Jefferson's Ocean bottle that I talked about last podcast. It's the bourbon that is aged at sea.
It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
I've been bouncing between that and Yellowstone, which is a new bourbon that I've been trying. Just kind of a middle of the road bourbon. It's not too expensive. It's not cheap.
Is it dark? Is it light? What is it?
It's a little. It's medium, I guess, in the range of those things.
It's brown.
Yeah. It's good though. It's pretty good stuff. But cool. I saw it, and Yellowstone's the new season will be coming out here pretty soon, and got a little excited about it. I was like, I haven't get that bourbon.
I haven't watched it yet. Everyone says it's really good. Plus, it was Kevin Costner, right? That's the main character in it.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it.
Isn't he like 95 now?
Wow.
This is one of my favorite. And of course, Costner's done some amazing things, but it's one of my favorite roles he's ever played.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome. He does an amazing job, and it's a really interesting series. But it'll hook you in. It's great.
It's about awesome. Like a ranch, right? Like it's just a ranch, and it's them just managing the ranch. Is that what all it is?
It's more in depth than that. They own thousands and thousands and thousands of acres that was passed down through generations in their family, and it's about them trying to hold on to that land from the outsiders, and then the outsiders' perspective of no man should ever own that amount of land that they own, and it's interesting. Their perspectives on it from different views and stuff, but it's such a damn good series. I highly recommend it.
That's cool. Have you ever seen? I'd be surprised if you haven't seen it. Called The Highwaymen. On Netflix.
I haven't, but I've got it queued.
dude.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one?
Best actors I love is Kevin Costner. I love Kevin
I have
Costner.
seen it. It's amazing.
All right,
Yes.
and Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson's amazing.
Yeah, it's about Bonnie and Clyde, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all from the whole thing's you don't even see Bonnie and Clyde pretty much the entire movie until the very end. And you see their faces for a second. But like the entire spoiler alert, even though this is history, I shouldn't have to say that. But they get shot up, right? And their car just gets like hundreds of bullet holes in it. But it's all from the perspective of the two highwaymen, right? The two cops that are trying to hunt Bonnie and Clyde down in Texas, right? I believe it's Texas. Dude, it's fantastic. I love that movie. Good. I thought it was great. But
I saw that car when I was a kid.
Where's it at? It's in a museum, right?
I think they used to take it around.
State line.
Oh, is it?
At the casino.
Oh, Sam said it's at State Line from California to Vegas.
Oh.
It's at State Line at a casino, the car.
Maybe that's where I saw it then. I don't remember where I saw it. I thought they took it around, like toured it.
They could at one point. They do that with a lot of museums. One thing that this is off subject, but like there's a museum, like, have you ever heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah.
So we actually saw the Dead Sea Scrolls, went to the museum here. It's like a Leonardo da Vinci museum. And when they came to Salt Lake, we saw them, but they're a touring museum. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were taking the car around, but
today's episode sponsor is Mirka. They're the pioneers of dust-free sanding.
I've been using my Mirka for over a year, and they just recently sent us all sanders and vacs, and the change for me was the HEPA vac. It is amazing. No dust, super quiet, and it's very healthy because it literally will take all the dust out of the air. Like, nothing escapes. It's pretty crazy, especially if you're using the Abernet paper. Highly recommend it.
So be sure to go follow them on Instagram. It's Mirka_USA. Also go follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and across the platforms. I know that they would truly appreciate it. And do us a favor, shoot them a message. Let them know that we sent you. It always helps us out when you let them know that. So
when I was a little kid, it's a real off topic. My grandma and grandpa took me to. So weird. I just now remember. Haven't thought about this in years. They had a big ass semi truck, right? They came around, and there was a huge whale in it. They killed this giant blue. I don't even remember what kind of whale. It was some kind of crazy thing.
What kind of backwards sideshow shit?
Right? And it was they had the harpoon in the truck that they killed it with, and it was like a museum setup, but it was inside of a truck.
That's called trophy hunting.
If you're listening,
and the guy was just trying to get some extra money.
It was super old, the early 1900s or some crazy. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up now. If you're listening to this, you know what I'm talking about. Please get my back.
Yeah, if you've ever heard of this at all, please message the podcast because I've never heard of that before.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and bet on 0 freaking people called in on that one.
It was one of those things that they drove it around the country. Watch, I'm going to look at it right now.
Hey, I think we got a guy that can research this now.
Hey, Jamie, can you look that up? Traveling killed whale. That's what Brandon wants to look up.
I just typed in huge whale in truck, and then I ended up with a bunch of pictures that looked like Jesse's story with the cow.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about that? So we didn't talk about it last time because we were being respectful to Derek. Which, if you haven't listened to that podcast and you were into barbecue, for the love of God, please go listen to that. God, dude, after that podcast, I was just like, oh, I want to get into whatever. I want to start cooking over just straight fire on coals. He makes you super, you're the way he talks about food and trying out different things. I'm like, God, I'm not being more, I need to be more experimental with the stuff I cook. But anyway, talking about the cow thing. Did you guys see that post? Did you guys see the post?
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite things is
what's funny is not only did I see it in the post, but I was looking through one of my text groups with a bunch of my other buddies, and I noticed that I had screenshotted it and sent it to them because I was scrolling through it and I saw it and I was like, "What is?" I was like, "Oh, I forgot I'd screenshot it and sent it to them."
It's so funny, man. So if you guys didn't see this reel, it is up on my feed. You can go check it out. And I got a lot of hate for it, but it was
such a random thing to get hate on too.
Right. That's what I thought.
How
to
can
me,
you
I was
kill
like,
a cow?
I kind of knew when I posted it, but I'll tell you what the real is. So we went to the dump because we tore out this outdoor kitchen that was a death trap, right? And that death trap thing. Like that thing we just completely tore out. It took us like an hour to tear out the whole thing, which was huge. So we're like, all right, let's take it to the dump. So we took it to the dump. Me and Sam were going. We were about to unload, and as we pull up to the weigh station to pay the $10 to go dump, we were like, all right. As we're pulling up, there's this flatbed truck, which you can tell is a farm truck with this really old guy in it. That's obviously a farmer, and there's this the most bloated cow I've ever seen in my entire life. His head is sticking off of like the edge of the truck. So the head's hanging off. The legs are straight in the air. Absolutely just straight in the air. And it is a bowling ball. It is so bloated. And I was like, what is this? And so we paid. And as we start driving forward, he was already going up to the top of the landfill. And Sam's like, Sam tells me, he's like, hey, hurry up and catch up to it because I want to see what they do with it. I was like, all right. So I go fast and I catch up to it. And I catch up to it and we start unloading stuff. And this guy's sitting there. And it's not a backhoe or a front loader. I forget what it's called. But it's this giant kind of dumpster or anyway, it's like a front loader sort of, right? It has a big old scoop in the front. Well, I didn't know that some of those actually can detach and become a claw, right? Which is what this thing did. So we assumed it was just going to scoop it up and move it and throw it. That's not what this thing did. What this thing did was it opened up like a claw and clawed the cow and lifted it off the ground by clawing into the side of the ribs. And then just like took it over and literally just like threw it. And it just went into the landfill. And so Sam filmed it because we thought it was kind of funny, to be fair, because we kind of understand that, it's a farmer that found a cow dead in his field. But like we just thought it was funny because I never knew that that's how they dispose of it, right? Like it was just kind of weird and strange. And I was like, I think some people would think like, oh, that's crazy. I never really thought about that before. And I thought it was just funny. So I posted the video, right? But I think the reels is funny because of two reasons. When we pull up to the cow, you see the first cow and you're like, the cow's just hanging off and it looks like it's sleeping for the most part. Everyone's like, what the hell? And then it immediately switched. There's no like change. It immediately switches from that to it being in the mouth of the front loader as it's getting thrown.
Apparently.
You didn't see that part?
Apparently,
it literally
I didn't watch enough of it.
It literally like throws the cow into like the ground, right? And then Sam pans over to me and sees my face. I'm like, ugh, no. Ugh. And that's the whole video. Dude, I got so many people like sending me flip, like their hand flipping me off emojis and whatnot. And I'm like,
that's rude.
I didn't kill the cow. There's people that were like going hard at me. Like
I scrolled through and read them and was laughing so hard.
It was the whole day. I was like, hey, this is more engagement than I've had on Instagram in a long time. So I'm perfectly fine with this. And, there's actually the best part was actual farmers getting onto my feed. And getting onto my feed, they were saying things like, hey, the reason they dispose of it this way is because they don't know how that cow died. So if that cow has a disease and they leave it or they bury it and their other cows go near it, they could get infected and their whole livestock could die. So that's why they dispose of it in this specific way. Also, for insurance reasons, they go and they weigh the cow with the truck. Like if they know how much their truck weighs, then they weigh the cow with the truck. Then they could say, okay, this is how much insurance money you get because that's how they get protected. Most
Brandon wouldn't watch it.
Dude, the best reaction ever.
Dude, it was gross. But
also,
dude,
that is not a bobcat. I think that's what we said last time, right?
No, yeah, that's not Bobcat's tiny. This thing is
that was a different conversation. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that was for something else. But like this thing is massive, and I didn't know the
like
claws open that way.
With the clamshell bucket on it.
It was just dramatic, and the fact that I love that people that actually work and our farmers came and kind of defended me in some way. They're like, listen, this is the reason we do this. Like, y'all need to wake up. Like, everything's not freaking roses over here. Cows die. We got to get rid of them. This is what we do. It was kind of nice. And I don't care. I don't really care.
What's even better is 4 posts later is you cooking hamburgers.
That's right. It's all about the same. Sam said Sam found some stuff on your whale.
I've been looking. I can't find it. I'm a liar, apparently.
So, you want me to tell you what I found?
Yeah, tell us what you found. You got to talk about it.
I found the super old Jonah one, right?
Yeah, so what I found was almost all in England, and it was like 100 years ago. So unless you're like an old
really
English fellow, I can't find it.
I'm a chap.
Yeah.
An old chap.
But that was the big thing in Europe.
I can't find it either. I don't know. I vividly remember it was literally in the grocery store parking lot. And I remember the harpoon.
That's so weird.
It was in an enclosed semi-truck.
That's so weird.
It was behind glass even.
No,
did you watch the video, Ken?
Dude, his face is hilarious.
That was
I'm sharing my stories right now.
That's fine, dude. That's for real a natural reaction though. When you see something like that, you're like, oh. I'll be honest. That's probably something I should sell or post to TikTok because I haven't had anything catch on TikTok in a long time, and I'm like, that's something that be shared.
Some comments anyway.
Right. Well, I actually noticed not to get whatever, but a lot of the people that were flipping me off and stuff were from the Middle East, like had like, and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. You're mad because you see a cow and they hold the cow to a higher standard, whatever. But you got to understand too, like cows are going to die. Like, it's not like it's like I don't know if they have, like, I don't know if they have some sort of ceremony. And this is me being a total dumbass, right? Like, I don't know any of that stuff, but I didn't do any of this. I just thought it was like, oh, jeez, this is a weird way to dispose of it.
Stupid American.
Right, exactly. But anyway, that was my fun trip to the dump. And my caption, that was the thing, I got so much hate. And my caption was like, what's the weirdest thing you've seen at the dump? Right. We were pretty shocked to see this. And that's literally my caption. And then I got so much hate for it. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why are you hating me for this? And I don't get it. Whatever.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So people will find anything to get mad at you.
They're bored.
You're right. Yeah.
Fun stuff. Well, haven't talked about what we've been up to lately in the last 2 episodes.
Right, because last episode we talked about barbecue, which was amazing. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't talk about it.
I listened back to it today.
So did I. Dude, I love talking to Derek. I hope we can get him on the podcast again later on. And we haven't talked about it. I've been personally, like I said, I took out that kitchen, which I don't think I've done since last time we talked. Took out that kitchen, put in a new stone wall, did a ton of concrete to level the maybe we should show this on I'll show you. We'll show up if you watch the YouTube video of the forms I built for the concrete. Sam will put them up.
Hold on. I'm gonna send them to the guys.
Okay, he's gonna send them to you guys right now.
Reaction.
Okay.
Because first of all, I'm not a professional at concrete. I'm just gonna say this straight up, okay?
Get this out of the way.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, listen, I do DIY. That's what I do, first of all, and I do a little bit of woodworking. Okay, I'd like to say I'm a woodworker to a certain extent, not a professional. I don't do hand tools. Concrete, on the other hand,
hand rasps. That's
right.
Which are not hand tools.
I don't do hand tools. I might have a hand plane, but I've never honed it in. Okay, but. But when it comes to concrete,
I'm pretty sure it's not called honing it in.
Sure, whatever. Hewn, hone.
I hewn the bean with my honed hand plane.
Right, exactly. See, Brandon knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Anyways, when it comes to concrete, not a professional by any means, and so we had to build a form. Well, I got home, got the concrete, and realized I didn't have any wood to build the form, but I did have a bunch of scrap wood. So I kind of threw together a form.
Did you build a pallet wood form? Please, God, tell me you made it out of pallets.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Made a form out of walnut and cherry, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
That's right. Just some excess. It was 4x4
Paul
cherry.
Jackman would be proud.
Yeah, so it was pretty rough. Did you send it?
It's sending, but it's sent right now.
Dude, so we used
sucks so
we
bad.
used 4x4s, we used 2x4s, pressure treated 2x6s, 3/4 inch plywood, and we got it to work. Okay, and
you
not
used
only
OSB.
and OSB.
There's
Yeah,
4 different
it's
types
fine.
of woods in that wood in that
Yes,
picture.
100%.
I don't think OSB is a great choice.
Well, first of all,
Kind of flexes a little bit.
yeah. So after we got done,
I like how you consider that a lot of concrete as well.
No, not a lot. No,
You said quite a bit of concrete. It's like we poured quite a bit of
well,
concrete.
that was the first form. We've done at least we've done 3 forms now, and then we have 1 more to do.
Here's the real question: did you mix it before or after?
No, I mixed it in a wheelbarrow that had a huge crack in the middle, so it was leaking the whole time.
Perfect.
I'm also pretty sure you're trialing that with gardening tools.
Oh, 100%. Yes, 100%. Yeah. There's no texture on top whatsoever. It was. I tried to make it as level as possible.
I do see the level. That's impressive.
Yeah, I tried. Yeah, so we did build that wall out of stone, which actually ended up being a lot cheaper than I thought it would be. Once I went to a brickyard, I went to an actual brickyard that sells the concrete stones, bricks, all this kind of stuff. They also sell the veneers, but they sell these concrete bricks. And when we pulled up, I was planning on doing, either a veneer and building it or getting stones and using like a cement grout, like this whole thing. And when we got there, outside they had these grills and different areas built with these concrete stones that they used just glue. And as I researched, when I saw it, I was like, what glue did you use? And so we kind of figured it out. And there's this like landscaping glue that's just absolutely super strong for this kind of stuff, plus the stone wall, plus how we were building it. I was like, damn, that's so much cheaper. So that's what we ended up doing. And dude, it was fantastic. I've built 3 walls now and building this concrete. The concrete was the worst. And when I do the YouTube video, I'm literally going to say, we're going to skip over the concrete part because I'm not going to give you any tips on the concrete because I don't think you should follow my tips on concrete. And then I'm going to skip through the concrete. And then I'll do the stone wall, which is pretty easy. I just use my tile saw to cut, the ones I needed to.
You should put it in there as a joke and just like narrate it over and be like, this is what you don't do.
Right. And that's something I could do too as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually worked out and it looks 1,000 times better. And I added a new grill to the mix as well. Now that we have the walls up,
griddle.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Is
yeah,
that a
JP's
griddle?
actually does this. Yeah, it's a griddle. This is a black stone griddle. Now,
about it.
yeah, right. So we went to go pick up my griddle. Which this is one of the coolest things about living in Logan. There's 2 huge, well, actually in Utah in general, but in Logan, Utah, there's 2 huge grill manufacturers here in Logan, right? Camp Chef has their headquarters here, which is a huge griddle. Like I think probably some of our listeners that have smokers probably have a Camp Chef or a grill, Camp Chef grill. In Blackstone, which is the griddle I got, right? Which is the grill. So I went and I've been talking to him for a while, and then I went in and I decided I wanted to get a 28, I believe it's a 28-inch griddle, right? Well, when I went to go pick it up at the warehouse, there was a bunch of confusion. So they didn't have the griddle that I had placed, order that I placed. And so they didn't have it, even though they were supposed to, because I talked to the guys that worked there and I'm like, hey, I'm just going to come pick it up in person. There's no need to ship it. I'll just come, it's 10 minutes away or not even that. So I'm going to go pick it up. But they didn't have it waiting for me like they should have. And out of all this confusion, they're like, hey, listen, we don't have the 28-inch, which I'm happy about because it was, when we got in there, I was like, oh, that's way too small. I need a bigger one. And they're like, So we're just going to upgrade you to 36. Is that okay? I'm like,
Absolutely not.
perfect. I will take the 36 then. So I end up getting an upgrade to my order, which is just fantastic. And it fits literally as perfect as you could go with the side tables that come up. My Traeger and my griddle with the side tables up. So now I have places to put my seasonings and all that. It couldn't have worked out better. And I'm really happy with it. And the walls came out relatively level, except I like to point out the one spot that there's a little bit of a hump. But other than that, it turned out really nice, and I'm really happy with the area. And it opened it up. We basically saved, I think, probably 3 feet by 6 feet of space on our patio, tearing out the old one and putting the new stuff in. So anyway, yeah, we're really happy with it, and that's what I've been working on this last couple of weeks.
Nice.
The griddle is a great 1-2 punch with the Traeger. For sure.
Yeah.
Jason Bent just got him one, and I was watching his stories.
He was messaging me this week.
Yeah. He and he was cooking on it, and then they're amazing. I have a small one, like really, really small one that's really kind of made for traveling, like camping and stuff.
Yeah.
But I use it with my Traeger as well. But I'm super jealous of yours. I will be getting one of those for sure.
You should. I love this Blackstone has all the bells and whistles, has a little rack up front, a magnetic strip so you can just like throw up your spatula and it'll just like stay to the front. There's a bunch of really cool stuff about it. Yeah, I'm really pumped just for the searing aspect of it, like taking steaks, smoking them for an hour, then taking up and searing them right on this, like throwing a cast iron on the griddle, heating it up, putting some oil in, searing it right next to it so I don't have to take it inside. You guys have seen my videos.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking
up your whole house.
Yeah, your wife will appreciate that.
My wife's all pissed because she's like literally well, first of all, we don't have cabinets, right? I took out all the cabinets. So it's just open shelving. So literally it's just like going on to the clean dishes up top. So she has to take all the dishes off every time I sear a steak. So now I can do that or cook bacon because my wife hates cooking bacon inside. So I'm pretty pumped.
Can you not sear it right on the griddle?
No, that's what I'm saying. Now that I have the griddle.
Well, no, you said you're going to put it in a pan on the griddle.
So the only reason I do a cast iron is because you want, like, for the steaks, the way I do it is I want a small layer of oil or butter at the bottom so it continuously, like, stays there. Now, you could just throw butter on the griddle and let it cook and just throw the steak on it. So that's something I might do. I haven't tried it yet. That's what you do? So I haven't tried that yet. And it works. So if you put oil on the griddle and just let it sit kind of in the same area, just throw the steak on top. So I might do that. That might be an
but I will say mine, I guess it all depends on how level it is and how contoured, your griddle is. Because, if you don't have it level, as soon as you put the oil on, it's all going to run to one side or whatever.
Exactly.
But if you have it nice and level, it works out great. I even have a cast iron, I don't know what you call it, a press. Cast iron press. So it's got a handle on it and it's weighted and it's just flat. So I put it on the top of stuff, and then when I put it on the griddle, I'll set that down on it, which weights it down and gives it an even better crust when you're searing it like that.
I like it.
I did that whole chicken this week. Spatchcocked it and did a Mojo marinade, which is like it's got orange juice and a bunch of other stuff in it. It was excellent, but I cooked it on the Traeger, and then right before it was done, I moved it over to the flat top and did that just skin side down just to crisp up the skin, and it was absolutely perfect. Perfect. Oh, it was amazing.
That sounds so good.
Yeah. So it's a good combination to have with the I would say get rid of the gas grill, Brandon. Get you a flat top griddle.
My girlfriend will murder me if I get rid of our gas grill.
Why?
Anything that you can cook on that gas grill, you can cook on that griddle.
She likes using the gas grill.
So she uses it?
Yeah, it's just she cooks our steaks usually.
Oh, they'll go straight on the griddle with them.
Yeah, you could do so. That's what you should do is just switch. Be like, listen, it's an oven. The Traeger's an oven, but it tastes way better. Just
she doesn't
put it in the oven.
Understand that? Like yesterday, she's like, she wasn't feeling well, so I was like, I'll cook something. She's like, well, there you have chicken thighs in there, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do them on the smoker. She's like, no, it takes too long. And I'm like, takes the same amount of time as the barbecue. She's like, how? Because it goes up to like 450. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
She's like,
It just depends on how you want to cook it.
So I don't think she realized until yesterday that it could be a fast cooking process also. Yeah. And when I did that pork butt, I went by our local appliance center who I bought my Traeger from, and they have all their spices and pellets and all that. I had to get more pellets, and I got the prime, I think it was the prime rib rub, which is what they suggested for the pork, or maybe, I don't remember. Whatever. I got two seasonings, and then I got their chicken rub, and we tried that last night, and it's pretty good. It's got like a hint of lime in it. It's pretty good.
That's cool.
And they cooked like they were thighs, but they were like boneless, so they had like strips basically. They were almost like chicken strips, but out of thighs. And they cooked way faster than I thought, so I didn't get sauce on them. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that seasoning was pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that sounds delicious. Well, what projects have you been working on? You just been busy with work, or are you actually working on stuff in the shop?
Busy with work, busy with yard work, putting in the garden and all that. And I've been, dude, I don't know what kind of soil we have, but it's mostly just rocks. It's ridiculous. It's like a clay rock soil. So I was trying to plant these 2 shrubs out front, and I swear to God, it took me like 2 hours to dig a hole because it was just rocks. My mom came around and she's like, what is that? Because I was using like a little like rototiller, like a 2-stroke little one, the old mantises. I had one from my old job. Somebody didn't want it, so they just dropped it off, and I took it home and put like a $20 carburetor on it. It works fine. And so I used that to dig the holes to get the dirt tilled up, and then I can scoop it out with a shovel, because if you try to use a shovel, you're just literally every time just dink into a rocks. It's insane. So I was tilling that up, and it was just jumping up in the air, so all you heard was like hitting rocks. And my mom was like, what is that noise? And I'm like, oh, I'm just digging in the rocks, mining over here. So yeah, it's fun. I got both those done though, and then I've been messing with this bandsaw. I got the new blades for it, which is nice. They cut way better than the stock blade.
Does it help having the instruction manual out of the bottom, or
that was also an upgrade? Yeah, get that. But yeah, no real projects. I did my first pull-out cutting board, which is I called JP about it, and somebody actually, when I posted it yesterday, somebody commented today and said, did you draw board that? Because it's going across the grain. And I was like, nope. Just chancing it. JP said it'll be fine, so.
We discussed it at length. I said it most likely would be fine. But
What does draw board mean?
Like a breadboard in.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, because it's
like because
it's got a cap on it to like pull it out of the cap. Oh, and JP didn't even know what I was talking about for like 10 minutes. Couldn't figure.
I never heard of a pull. What did you call it?
Yeah, it's just a cutting board that's in your cabinets that are built into your kitchen. You pull it out.
Yeah, I made one before.
Isn't it pretty common?
Yeah, I made one for my parents
like you've
before.
Never seen one in his life.
You've never seen one of those?
I've never seen a single home with one like that ever.
Oh, really? My parents, that's what we grew up with. My mom's cutting board she always used was always, it was next to the sink and above a cabinet. And it was just like a little slot that she'd pull it out. But it was a big cutting board.
Yeah. No, this one's 22 by 25.
Yeah, they're big cutting boards. They're nice, though. I like
never seen one of those. I had to... What it made me think of when he was explaining it was like the signing tables and desks when you pull it out, stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You can pull it out and like whatever.
And you can write on the side. Like you pull it out to the side and you can write here. Yeah.
I've never seen a cutting board like that. Well, I take that back. I was telling them the only time I ever seen one was on an Instagram post, and I saved it because I thought it was cool, where somebody had it where it pulled out and underneath it was the trash can drawer. The drawers would pull it out, and it's got a trash can. Yeah. And in the cutting board, they had a hole cut in the center. So and they could just
scoop it into the trash.
Yeah. Which sense. I thought was cool. I didn't know that was the thing.
I never saw that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
but we were talking about the breadboard-ish style, like end on it, and like he's like, how should I attach this? Should we allow for movement and blah blah blah? I was like, when it's stuff that small,
I don't
it
think
kind of
matters.
gets, it gets,
I'm
like
taking a
it's
chance. It's for a
not
friend
gonna move
anyway,
that
so
much.
at least I'll know.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, if he's like, this thing won't pull out anymore. I'm like, oh, that sucks.
She's like, hey, he's like, hey, you really effed up on this. You're like, okay, cool. I won't do it next time. Don't worry.
Oh, dude, it's already. He asked me, I think, in like January. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll get right on that. And here we are in almost May.
Yeah.
Right.
I texted him yesterday. I'm like, your board will be done. He's like, yeah, I heard that before. I was like, sorry.
Well, that's cool. JP, what are you doing? Are you working on anything lately or no?
Yeah, I've done nothing but work on stuff, but I haven't been in the shop in a long time.
Right, you're working
I have
outside.
a question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll forget if I don't ask you. Why did I think I know the answer. I don't know if you can actually answer it honestly, but why did you use nails on the top part and then screws on the sideboards?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of comments. I saw it. I actually read it. Yeah, you got a bunch of comments, and I started reading the comments on it. Go ahead.
I should have known better because people commented on my deck video all about that crap.
So, while I think this is irrelevant on something like this, I get a lot of comments, and I've got a lot of comments in the past about sheer capacity of screws versus nails, right?
Same.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a thing. So I decided to combat that, which I thought it would be funny to post that up with me just nailing those in by using both. So
you just
later on in
use
the
your
build,
boss hammer. Let's be realistic.
yeah,
They're badass hammers. I'm just gonna say
it's true.
it is a badass hammer, and I liked it. So to combat that, I used both nails and screws. Just the video of me using the screws hasn't come out yet. The nails for the shear volume to hold from the weight coming down, and then screws to keep it tight against the post. I use screws in my overhead garage storage bins or whatever, and I got 2 ton of shit comments about it's never gonna hold the weight. I'm like, what kind of weight are we talking? Like Volkswagens? Like
right?
I don't understand. Like
you're never gonna be able to park your truck up there.
Yeah. Like I put 1,000 screws in that.
Doesn't matter. Your whole house is gonna fall down now.
But I got a ton of a ton of comments, and they're right. I looked it up later on and saw the charts and stuff, and they're right. Per size, a nail has a better shear weight capacity than a screw, but to me it seemed negligible. Like it wasn't something that I'm gonna sit there and calculate.
If you're gonna put enough weight in your garage storage to shear off a screw,
yeah,
you got some more issues.
Right.
Like you should probably have a yard sale.
So
right.
I purely used nails because of those comments in that last video. I used nails just because of those comments, and then I go back later and I put in screws as well, just really to mess with people because
I was talking about the screw because you put screws in the boards that were going down the side.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was talking about. I didn't know you put nails and screws in the top.
In the header boards, yes.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, the header boards hold all the weight, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. We were on Instagram while we were working today. I jumped on Instagram to post or whatever, and then your video popped up, and I'm like, oh, that's what JP's wife looks like. I've never seen your wife before, ever. I was like, oh, I knew she was a redhead. I was like, that's what she looks like.
But I even commented, and I was like, I always forget that his wife has like a pretty heavy southern twangy accent.
Oh,
because I'm used to talking to him, and then she starts talking. I'm like, wait, oh yeah, they are from Tennessee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like she has such a cool accent.
Yeah, awesome. It's like my wife. It's like a unicorn. Like you only see her once. It's like a blue moon when you see it. Like my wife in a video. Right, exactly. So, well, actually, and the video I posted today, you saw my wife for like a split. Oh no, not today, but the YouTube video I posted where we're like dismantling my bed, and I just posted a YouTube video of our bedroom makeover, and the first part of it, you see my wife for a second as we like start taking down the bed and stuff, before we start the whole project stuff. I'm like, yeah, you never see my wife in anything. That's why I thought it was funny. I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen JP's wife ever before that video.
That may be the only like actual post that she's ever been in.
Yeah,
in
I've
my
seen
career.
it. I just don't know What?
She's been in my
Maybe
stories and
stories
stuff.
or something.
Yeah, stories. I think I've seen.
stories
She,
quite a bit.
seen
She
her,
even
but-
said smidge.
Yeah,
Yep,
smidge.
Southern. For
You know
sure.
what's
Yeah,
funny,
yeah.
Brandon, is I posted that, edited that video and posted it, and I had the volume down the entire time, so I never even listened to the volume, like what we were saying or anything.
Yeah.
And I posted it, and like 20 minutes later, you commented that, and it was that real quick panic in me. I was like, "Oh shit! What did we say in that post?"
Right? Yeah.
I was surprised. I saw
I had
it
to
and then
go.
I scrolled back down and it showed up again, but my sound was on, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, he left the sound on this. Let's see what they say."
Right. Yeah. Right.
Like
I
guarantee
went
he didn't
immediately-
do that on purpose.
No, I went immediately
Yeah,
back to the
right.
post and like turned it up real quick. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's good."
I think somebody
Yeah, right.
replied to my comment, but I didn't check it.
That's funny.
I don't know what it was.
So, fair warning, guys. Of course, I was fighting with my computer and getting the updates going before we started this podcast. At some point in the beginning of this recording, I got a little prompt that said your computer will restart in 58 minutes.
Perfect.
Why?
I don't know.
Can you
We're
just
in-
say no?
I haven't had that option yet.
We're like 53 minutes in, so if you're
So if I just disappear, you know what happened.
Yeah,
We're
but
just
then your
like-
audio will be gone.
yeah, we might have to leave this a little early. Well, we're gonna do an after hours anyway. The second after hours, which yeah, we can wrap it up a little early today, but make sure you stay tuned for the next after hours as well. Anyway, it's been a while since we actually talked about shop and other stuff, so
Right.
it's been fun catching up. If you guys like the podcast, please share it. That's the best thing you can do. Share it with other people. Subscribe, obviously, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you review it as well. And go to YouTube, because we're doing more interactive content on there. And eventually we're going to be doing a Patreon, which will have exclusive content and more content where it's actually us kind of unfiltered, talking about everything, not just the shop, but life in general. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening, guys. Go build something.
If you're listening to this and you know what I'm talking about, please get my bag.